So hi there, I've got a question today from Michael, and it's to set up a PA system. So he got himself two 12-inch Soundkings, 300 watts each, really nice, and a 12-inch subwoofer, 600 watts, all PA equipment. He's not looking to DJ with it. He basically wants a good, simple setup. So this way he can use it at home. He wants to be able to connect that all together. And it's, again, for his man cave here, so he can make his house rumble, which, you know what, I'm not opposed to that. As long as you don't live next door to me, that's okay. What's he trying to hook up? He's got a couple of things he's listed here. He's listed his receiver, his FM receiver, his turntable, BluRay, etc. So stuff like that. Now, I wish I could say that you don't need a mixer, but it's probably easier with the mixer. Could you do it without? If your receiver, and if it's a legitimate, if it's an older receiver and it has an output on it, yes, but then you're going to be doing a lot of volume adjustments from an external source. Now, if you're lucky and your receiver has what they call like a 5.1 output on it, because maybe it was built in the 90s or early 2000s, and it has these multi-channel RCA outputs, you can use that and just get yourself some adapters and some long RCA cables and go to each speaker. I'm going to show you the connectors and cables. What I'm thinking about most likely is going to happen is you have a slightly newer receiver. So what we're going to do first before hitting that mixer is we're going to take a look at some of the connectors, the adapters, the cables you might want to have. First thing we're going to look at here is the fact that you are probably going to need a phono adapter. I have two turntables behind me here on the back wall, and both of them are 40 plus years old, even though they're brand spanking new, but that's another video for another day. But they require phono preamps. Now, these ones come from Pile, and a lot of people are like, ooh, how much do I have to spend? You don't have to spend a lot. This is the same tech that would have been inside an actual receiver from the 80s into the 90s. No problem, maybe even after that, until they were discontinued pretty much for anything under, let's say, $700, which would have been the majority of the stuff you would have gone out and bought at any electronics store. So you're going to need a phono preamp. I'll have a link for this down below if you want to hook up your turntable. Now that's going to be RCA cables going into it, which are on your actual turntable, and then that's going to lead out to something. Well, you're going to have to buy something that may look like this if you don't have it already. Now, if you have lots of RCA cables, the RCA cables are going to be long enough to reach, well then you're going to look at the adapters I'm going to show you at the end. But for now, this is an actual connector. It has 1/4 inch connectors at this end, and it has RCA connectors at this end. This is how we get things plugged in to an actual mixing board. This gets used for a whole bunch of products, so we're going to see this a couple of times depending on what we're talking about. Now, another cable you may need is one of these guys, which is a 3.5 RCA, but more importantly, these adapters right here, which are 1/4 inch. I'll have a picture better than this on the screen for you right now. So I'll show you what you actually can get at Amazon. So here's a picture from it at Amazon. And these come in a multi-pack, very reasonably priced. These guys here are what allows you to take anything that you currently have in RCA cables and turn them into, well, 1/4 inch cables. I have lots of them. I'm not worried about any signal loss when it comes to that particular setup. Not enough that we're going to really take account of. Now, something else you may want, because I'm looking at the list, you said BluRay player. Now, I'm going to assume you have a TV with this as well. So if you have a TV, I've talked about this particular box in another video. I'm going to show you what it looks like on Amazon. Now, this box here is allowing you to take the HDMI from your BluRay player, pass the signal back to your TV, but also capture the audio from it. And what cable do you need for that? Well, that comes back to the cable I had in my hands before. These guys right here. Now, if you have to buy cables like this, then you want to get the ones that have the 1/4 inch. So I'll put a link and a picture up right now for you. So instead of having RCA cables, if you don't already have this cable, by all means, buy the proper one. I'm showing it to you right now on the screen. That's what you want to get. Now, this adapter allows you to take just the audio out of the HDMI and run the rest of it off to your TV as a secondary audio, but also bring it to the mixer. There's a switch on the side. Again, depending on if you're running things in 5.1 or 2.0, just select what's appropriate there. Usually you may have to, in your BluRay player, set your audio to PCM, which is basically a standard 2-channel audio. It allows these things to really, extract the audio properly, so this way you get all of it to your mixer, including the bass. That's what this guy does. That being said, you may need or you may want either a Fire Stick or a Google Chromecast, depending on what you like to do for streaming. It comes with a lot of apps on it. Now, if you decide you want to do karaoke, this might be even a more important feature. But if you're just looking at playing music, like I do a lot, I do a lot of it through either my Google Hub, my Nest Hub. I do use that. You can use what you want. Or you can use, your Fire Stick display. Depends on how you get your music and how you've already set that up or like that. I do everything so this way, instead of using my phone as a Bluetooth connection to my mixer, I use the actual Google Nest Hub instead. Now you can get just a little puck, it'll do the same thing. But the idea is to be able to Bluetooth from that directly to the mixer. Now, that being said, what are we looking at next? What was on your list? Let's make sure we covered everything. So receivers are the trickier ones because you're looking at FM. To be honest, you can stream FM off the internet everywhere, anywhere, anytime. So, if you're going to do FM, might as well just take it straight off of where you want. That's always the best thing. Now, the receiver, I can't see anything else being plugged into it that you practically want from that. But if you did, you'd have to take hopefully the receiver is old enough that it has some sort of RCA outputs on it. So look for a tape out, a video out, something like that that has audio left and right outputs. That's a way you can take from the actual receiver itself. And then you're all set and ready to go. Now, what else do I see on the list? That's pretty much it, but I think we've covered everything and then some. Now, the mixer are going to have Bluetooth in it, so that's one thing you didn't put here, but that is very important. So let's take a look at the mixer we have ready to go. So we're going to be able to cover two mixers that I think might be appropriate for this setup here. This is the one that we have in front of us, which is the LX12 from Harbinger. Reasonably priced mixer, does everything we want to and more. This one here, if you plan on doing karaoke and playing in microphones, then this is nice because it has 4 compressors. This feature right here is worth $200. That's what this whole mixer's cost, but this one feature here is worth the price of the whole thing all by itself. But again, you're paying for compressors and a USB connection to your computer. If you don't plan on having the USB connection to your computer or plan on doing any karaoke or hooking up anything else microphone wise, like playing for a band or stuff like that, doing some fun stuff at home that way, then you don't need this one. You can get yourself the LV12. I'll have a link for that down below for you as well, and a link for this mixer at the end of the video as well for you. So why did I go with this mixer? It has lots of input channels. All the input channels we want to get are right here, and then we've got some extra ones off to the side. Now, these ones here, if you're going to use RCA cables, you're going to need 1/4-inch RCA adapters. That's why we were looking at this before. These guys can plug right into here, just like that. So that now allow me to plug my RCA cables right on top of it, just like that. So now, all set. Now, for those of you that are really savvy on these things and you're watching this for pure entertainment sake and you're just looking and wondering if this is all possible, yes, things that are consumer grade products with fixed audio outputs, like a Blu-ray player, like a turntable once it's all set up, once a receiver, or anything else, is 0.75 voltage. This mixer has a variable gain control of up to 1.25 voltage. Now remember, that's variable control. So I don't have a problem doing this, even though this is a fix. Now that's nice because now I have the ability to adjust all the sound features, the balance, the options for running my subwoofer separate from my mains, because I can run my subs through the actual monitor. Now that's very important because you can do that as well because you've got a sub. You're thinking, hey, I've got a sub and I've got 2 tops. So there's my 2 tops plugged in right here. There's my subwoofer plugged in right there. Why did I plug it in separately? So I can give myself more bass without adding more volume. Very cool, very nice, very easy, really worth the money. And again, you can do that one feature on both the LX and LV12. Now remember, LV12, no audio interface for your computer, which means basically I'm not going to be doing a playlist or playset off of my computer and sending it here. But I do have Bluetooth on both of them, and I do have the ability to do all of these connections on both of them. I'm not going to have compressor on the LV. So again, if you want to spend the extra $40, you get the LX, you won't have to worry about that. But that's up to you. Now again, I'm plugging into here. I can also plug my Blu-ray player in. Now that I've got the connections, I can use my actual either my Fire Stick or my Google Hub Chromecast to go through to Bluetooth. I can even plug my phone in directly if I really want to do that. All of that's open to you now. So again, I can watch my TV, I can do everything I want and have this run the system in the room. So that's everything you're really going to need to know. Now, like I said, RCA, if you're buying cables, don't buy them with RCAs, buy them with 1/4 inch. And if you have RCAs, just buy a lot of the adapters. You'll be fine. They're not expensive. You get a whole kit of them. Get the mixers through the links. That's what supports this channel. So there you go. That question came from Michael. And I want to thank you very much for that question. It's a real popular question. Hooking up a lot of regular equipment that you're going to have at home, but you want to do it with your actual PA speakers. And maybe, you know, if you don't have a mixer, good reason to get one. You can always get a secondhand one as well. They don't tend to wear out. So if they all work, as long as they're not antique, they're going to be fine if they're a current model. And if you want, you can certainly order from Guitar Center some of their open box and save a bunch of money too. There you go. And they also tag some as used, but they're current model, so they're not really used. I mean, they've been used maybe like how I use them, and then people trade in, trade up sort of thing, right? Big program for Guitar Center. All right. Well, there you go. That's a great question. If you have a question, put it down in the comments down below. I'll try and add it to the videos that I'm making, because it's the best way to come up with some good ideas to make videos, is to listen to what you're asking for and, well, following through. So again, I hope this helped you out, and I hope everybody else who's watching is thinking that maybe this might be right for me, helps you out as well. I'd like to say thanks and see you in the next video. Bye for now.